Hey you witches, how you doing today? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Taya and today we are going to do a book review. Quick book review on The Call of the Horned Piper by Nigel Jackson. I am so excited about this book. So, Call of the Horned Piper was published in 1994 by Capel Ban and is currently out of print. Now, to sort of illustrate the amazingness that is this book, it originally sold for £8.95 in the UK, which is about $15 here in North America, give or take. It is now selling for up to $300 on Amazon. The lowest listing I found was about $140, and then it was all up at $285, $292, $300. And I'm only assuming they're asking that much because people are on some level willing to pay that much for this book. It is a foundational text and is absolutely amazing. Now, how did I get my hands on a copy of this wonderful book? I have a lovely viewer named Jane Sargent. Hi, Jane. Oh my goodness. So she got in touch with me back in May, June of 2022. So just this past year. And she said, hey, I have this book and it's a great book, but it's not really, my kind of witchcraft. And I really feel like, I feel called to pass it on. And I really feel like it would be, it would find a good home with you, having watched your channel and knowing the kind of witchcraft that you practice. I'd really like you to have it. And I was like, oh my goodness, girl, I will buy this book from you. Please, 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 please. And she's like, no, it's a gift. I said, okay, well, I'll pay the shipping. And she said, no, it's a gift. And bless this woman's excellent heart. She sent me this book. She paid for the shipping. She's in the UK, paid for the shipping to Canada back in June of 2022. And she sent me this lovely little note in it. Thank you, Jane. It says, I hope you enjoyed the book. P.S. She made a little protection bind rune to help it get to you safely, which is just the sweetest. So I still have the little note. I just keep it in the book like a little bookmark. And I just really, I'm a little speechless. Like I so appreciate that. That was so generous. So thank you, Jane. Wow. Thank you so much. Like, I'm so excited to have this book. So a little bit about the book. Nigel Jackson. Who is Nigel Jackson? He is an author, illustrator, and esotericist who lives in Manchester in the UK. And why am I so excited about this book? Like I said, it is a foundational text in traditional witchcraft. It was quoted as the most important book on witchcraft since Gardner's Witchcraft Today. It is essential reading for traditional witches. Now, typically I'd sort of walk you through all the different sections, and I will read you the sections, but I'm going to read to you off the back of the book because they sum it up just perfectly what exactly is in this book, okay? It says, this book covers the symbolism, archetypes, and myths of the traditional craft or old religion in the British Isles and Europe. The first section of the book explores the inner symbology and mythopoetics of the old witchcraft religion. This is followed by a section giving a practical treatment of the sacred cycle, the working tools, incantations, spells, and pathworking. There are also sections on spirit lines, knots and thread, lore and magic, together with ancestral fairy teachings. The text is highlighted with the author's original artwork. So, like I mentioned earlier, Nigel Jackson is also an illustrator. He has a tarot deck that he has done that has been quite popular called the Rose Tarot. So here's just an example of what you'll find. So there's this it's almost like a woodcut, and then this lovely little, almost like a sigil down here. So his illustrations are kind of all throughout the book. It's a beautiful book. It really is. And it's very poetically written. He's a beautiful writer. But it's an easy read. Sometimes when you get into especially traditional witchcraft texts, they can get a little wordy and you're kind of like, oh, good grief. Like, It's almost like they're trying to make it hard to read on purpose. And this book, while being poetic, is still what I would consider fairly easy to read. One drawback, if you will, is that there's no bibliography. So I don't really know how much of this is personal gnosis versus, research, but to be fair, it absolutely jives with my studies in traditional witchcraft. It kind of puts into words a lot of things a lot of concepts and etc. that I've studied. So it would be nice to have a bibliography to know where he's sort of pulling some of this from versus what is his personal gnosis, but it absolutely jives with everything that I've studied. So grain of salt, right? So it is absolutely poetic, but it is packed with information. At only 115 pages, I got so much. Like, it's just a skinny little book, but I got so much out of it. So I want to read to you the Sabbath song is what it starts with. It's actually a poem. I'm going to read it to you just because it's so beautiful. Sleep is waking, waking sleep. We ride the broom across the deep. Fair is foul and foul is fair, by bee and cat, by hound and hare. The living die and the dying live. We turn the shears and the sieve. Light is darkness, darkness light, to farers through the mystic night. Up is down and down is up, to seekers of the cauldron cup. Lords are churls and churls are lords, we leap across the bridge of swords. Birth is death and death is birth, we tread the paths beneath the earth. Bride is hag and hag is bride, between the times we rage and ride. Day is night and night is day, for farers on the witching way. Isn't that beautiful? I love the meter and the rhyme, impeccable. So that is just sort of the introduction to the book. And then I'll go through the table of contents just so you have an idea on sort of what's in the book. So starts out with the Sabbath song, then a historical introduction, broomsticks, grease birds, and the gandry, Frau Holda, Venus Mountain, and the Night Travelers, death mysteries of the Horned Master, Hag Way and Sabbath Stone, the Mark of the Witch, the Familiar Spirit, a short disquisition concerning toad lore, fairy witchcraft and the geography of Elfland, werewolves, witches, and the warg tree, the shamanic vampire, spirit masks in European paganism, herb lore and wart cunning of the witches, the witch's compass, hallowing and casting the compass, beautiful ritual, the tools of witchery, hallowing the witch tools, the sabbatic cycle, initiation into wisecraft, spirit threads and knots in witch magic, mysterium sabbati, riding on the witch way, and then it ends with a commentary on the mysterium sabbati. Phenomenal book. All I can say is if you are a traditional witch, a traditional witchcrafter, see if you can't get your hands on a copy of this. They are, I believe, available. It is available, I believe, for you can probably find a free PDF download on the internet, being as it is out of print, and I don't believe Cable Ban is in business anymore. They've shut their doors, so you should be able to find a copy of Call of the Horned Piper by Nigel Jackson online somewhere. If you can, grab a copy. It is a beautiful book. It is poetic. It is packed full of information, and I can't say it enough. It is a foundational text if you are into traditional witchcraft. All right, friends, that's our video for today. I'd love to know, have you read the book? What were your thoughts? Are you interested in finding a copy? Let me know. And yeah, if you want me to read this book, I would love to read this book section by section. That would be a fun series to do. I don't know if that's something people would be interested in, but yeah, I love reading and I love dictating, and I would totally be up for reading, bits of sections by sections if you guys want to hear it. All right. That's all for today. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks so much, you guys.